Hey guys, Karen here, and welcome back to the Last Word Podcast, episode 4. And today I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Iconoclast, and we also have a special guest who I will let them introduce himself. So, Icono, you introduce yourself first.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back.
And then, all right, Tisk, tell them a little bit about yourself.
No.
No? Okay, well, this is Tisk. He is one of our clan members. I'm gonna put his gamer tag on the actual podcast. If you're watching this post production, you'll see his gamer tag. Yeah, there's a silent L. It's just TSK, Tisk, but there's like 15 other random letters. Just don't question it. That is his real gamer tag. But I figured I'd go ahead and ask him an icebreaker question just so you guys know what type of person he is. So anytime we have a guest on the podcast, I'm gonna get a little bit of a different question. So, Tisk, your question is, if you could turn your 4 main fingers, so each of your fingers except for your thumb, so if you could have each of your fingers be a different flavor soda fountain dispenser, what 4 sodas would your fingers be?
Well, bacon.
Bacon soda. Okay. You can make them up, I guess. We don't have to product placement. We're not sponsored by anyone, so don't feel pressured to pick anything in particular.
I don't drink soda, actually.
Okay, well, fountain drink then.
Yeah, so drawing a blank on that one.
Any alcohols, maybe?
Okay, there we go. Angry Orchard.
Bacon. Bacon and hard liquor,
and
it's all it needs. Okay, well, that's the type of man Tisk is. I think that question did its job pretty well. And I guess we can go ahead and get into the actual topics. So, the first topic for today, of course, actually, we always go through our weekly update, but the weekly update itself was kind of like a topic this week. Because we finally got news about all of the changes, some of the changes coming with the weapon balance patch. So, I don't think Tisk knows very much about it. Oops, that's a speaker. I don't think Tisk knows very much about it, so I'm going to go ahead and explain a couple of them for you guys. So first off, you now lose all your special ammo when you die. Tisk, just right off the bat, what do you think about that?
I like it.
Oh, really?
And it makes me want to use my universe remotes more.
Oh yeah, that's getting nerfed too. They didn't specify, but that one it's getting nerfed. That's what they said.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, okay, Icono. I think you had some pretty opinionated opinions on this one. Good or bad? Getting rid of special, or well, essentially when you die.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing but good news. I was not expecting that. Going into this, I said I didn't want them to make any changes to special ammo. But now that they have, the change that they've made, I'm behind it.
All right, yeah. I thought it was a pretty good change as well, but I just wanted to point out to everyone that didn't realize it already, like I pointed out to you guys yesterday, they essentially nerfed fusion rifles again, and it wasn't on purpose this time. I was playing with Tisk last night, and I was laughing really hard about it because it's just poor fusion rifles, man. They can never catch a break. They weren't even the problem shotguns were. But they still caught the tail end of it, which I found really hysterical. So, I don't know. Yeah, so did you have something to add on that? Icono, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I mean, what I'm really liking is that they didn't make any changes to sidearms. So sidearms look like they're going to be the new meta.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, my new loadout was going to be Suros Regime, the Wormwood, and pick your rocket launcher. It doesn't matter. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to jumping into Crucible on Tuesday, and using my Suros Regime, acting like it's year 1 again.
Yeah, I still have to ask Victoria if she's alright if I play on Valentine's Day, if I do like a live stream. Oh gosh, that's going to be fun to try to, because that's Valentine's Day. It's going to be fun to try to get away with. But, so yeah, there's that. And then what he was mentioning about the Suros, auto rifles got pretty much just like blanket buffs all across the board. Increased precision damage, just by a little bit, nothing too noticeable. More accuracy while in the air. A lot of different weapons got that though. And then also auto rifles got the was it a rate of fire buff? I think for the lowest rate of fire, just a slight one, like 12% or something. But yeah, so pretty decent changes coming to auto rifles. The next big one though, Clever Dragon got nerfed to hell. So they reduced its fire rate by 7.7%. All of those fusion or all those pulse rifles, so the Grasp Moloch as well, and the Waltz, and those ones. Reduced the magazine size of the Clever Dragon. It now has 24 regularly and 18 with braced frame, which is just nothing in the clip. And then high caliber rounds on pulse rifles is now less effective. So, Tisk, did you use the Clever Dragon quite a bit, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay. I thought you did. Maybe
hopscotch for me.
Oh,
I actually
yes,
never
right.
got a good one.
It was Jay-Z that did. Icona, what about you? You ever use the Clever?
Yeah, the Clever Dragon was actually my go-to, but I see. I'm happy that auto rifles are back because I don't like using pulse rifles. The only reason I ever used pulse rifles is because they were the meta. So, what I do want to add though, what I think is funny, when Deej started that stream, he made the comment and he quoted it directly from Reddit, from the community. Everybody in the community always says, don't nerf what we like, bring everything else up to levels to compete with it, right?
Yeah.
And Deej even went out of his way to say, we're not going to be nerfing anything into the ground, right? And what do they do for like the next hour of that stream? They basically went over all of these nerfs. And I found that incredibly funny that he did it with a straight face, basically.
I think the point they were trying to make is there were a few blanket nerfs, the high caliber rounds on pulse rifles and stuff, but they were not as much as usual. So I think the Clever Dragon was a very isolated case, and I think if you brought everything up to the speed of the Clever Dragon, first of all, that would be like a lot of work to make every single weapon in the game kill as fast as that freaking gun did, and then it also makes it like Call of Duty. So I think eliminating the one variable in this case is just a little bit easier. It might be the better approach. Plus, it's still going to be viable. It has like the same number of rounds in the magazine, I believe. It could be one less burst off of the Blind Perdition, which is my go-to gun. That's pretty much all I use in Crucible. So I don't think it'll be too bad. I do think that the new pulse rifle meta and probably the new meta in general is going to be the next tier rate of fire. So your Blind Perditions. I think your Bad Juju's on there, Outbreak Prime. I think those are going to be the next really, really good ones. But I found that funny too. I caught that as well because he did make the point, and then they jumped right into the special ammo, and I was like, well, that's a giant blanket nerf. And then they did the Clever Dragon right after that, and I was like, that's a little bit weird. Then they got into sort of the buffs and stuff, which the next good one, which I'm really excited for, hand cannons. So their range got increased finally. No, I lied. Their range got decreased, but their accuracy from range and their stability got increased. So it got buffed. So this means that hand cannons will once again be more viable at a longer range, but take more shots to kill people from that range. And I think that's a good move just because the Palindrome was pretty much the only usable hand cannon, and it's just annoying seeing everyone with the Palindrome. So this will make the Hawkmoon more viable. Potentially the Thorn, probably not. Yeah, I don't really use hand cannons that much. I guess it kind of hurts the last word in a way. Are you, Tisk, you never use any hand cannons, right? Or just...
No, not really.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more variety in terms of hand cannons. And once again, like... the Hawkmoon and this will essentially these stat changes will essentially take care of Bloom and the ghost bullets and stuff just because that was an accuracy at a range problem, and looks like they're finally addressing it, so that's really nice. And then we also got word that a couple of exotics are being looked at specifically. Nothing specific just yet. Universal Remote is getting a nerf of some kind. Hopefully it just gets taken out of the game. Then the Truth, the Truth is getting a nerf, which I'm sure that just has to do with grenades and horseshoes. It probably just won't explode further away from enemies anymore.
Well, or it could be the tracking, because the tracking on the Truth is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the tracking perk, like the tracking on what the Gallhorn is tracking, right? The tracking on that works pretty similarly. Actually, I hear like Tisk never uses the truth because he can never get his tracking to work. I'm just convinced he doesn't know how to aim a rocket launcher, but I guess tracking is definitely it's they could do that, but I think it's probably grenades and horseshoes. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, they didn't mention sidearms, which, like you said, will make them the new meta because you spawn with ammo, which seems a little bit overpowered to me. If you get like a trespasser, and then Icebreaker and Invective are definitely coming back up to the forefront. Which now, once again, Tisk, I keep calling out your weapons, but you used to use Invective a bit, right? Was that you? I've played with so many people in my life, dude.
Yeah, a long time ago I did.
Yeah, I thought you did. So I've never liked it because it shoots so fast. It's not really a one-shot kill. And then also, people were making good points on YouTube, you know. Perks like Exhumed that give you your full super. No, that's a lie. Replenish when you get your full magazine whenever you pop your super. That's going to be a pretty good one. The Hunter Helmet, the Skyburner's Annex, that gives you special whenever you pick up an orb. That's going to be a good one now. So it's just going to make a lot more combinations of armor more viable, which is pretty good. Do either of you have anything else to say on these? Any other additional comments, Icano, or anything?
No, I mean, you already hit the nail on the head with everything. I want to echo your sentiment that it's pretty ridiculous that fusion rifles are getting hurt again.
That's what I'm saying. And there's not even like a fusion rifle exotic that regenerates ammo or anything. Like, I feel so bad. Like, you know, it's a joke in the community. Oh, just nerf fusions. And you were even talking about that you thought they were going to get nerfed again. But when you said it, like, you were being sarcastic. But they actually did. And it was...
Yeah, they actually did.
I wonder if that was... like, I can kind of understand it. Like, can you imagine, especially with these, like, Saladin's Vigils running around, like, if you always have ammo for a Saladin's Vigil... I mean, that would be a little bit ridiculous. That and then, like, the vacancy and all these long-ranged ones. But all the normal ones, like, just not, like, the Thesan, I guess, isn't too great. And just that kind of stuff, like, they just got kicked way underneath the bus. And it's really funny. I don't know. Yep. I'll probably be rocking a sidearm as well, though. It's the plan. Okay, anything else on that one?
Nope.
Okay, so our first real topic, very big one, probably the biggest one of the year. Destiny 2 got confirmed to be in 2017. Just gonna say, go back to episode 1. I called it. Just saying. But I'm more of an optimist when it comes to this kind of stuff, though. So I understand. But yeah, so the conference call was yesterday. I don't think anything too much was said. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to the quote yesterday. It was Eric Hirschberg was talking directly about it, and it was really vague. He was like, I'm going to let the game do the talking, or I'm going to save all the stuff for the release, and he didn't say much about it, but we got confirmed in third quarter of 2017, so in August or September, possibly early, what's after September? November? And, nope, that's not right. Yes, it is. Is that right? Tisk, how did months go? October, there we go. I knew I was missing one.
Wow.
I have to do that with the friggin' like. Don't even my entire life. So I've my classmates made fun of me for stuff like that because I've always been like straight honors classes and stuff. But whenever someone asks me like the order of the alphabet, I always have to say it, and the months it's just a thing. I don't know. But if you ask me like molecular weight of carbon, I've got you, man. I don't have to look at anything for that. But that's way off topic. Freaking so Destiny 2 got confirmed. It's looking like they're planning on a much more consistent content schedule. Now, one thing, Icano, I did want to bring up to you. Did you listen to the exact quote? I don't know if I linked you to it or not. From Eric.
No, I read it, yeah.
Okay. So he kept saying, he said that thing about if you've been a fan of this game, you know, you put a lot of hours into it, you're going to want to come back, you're going to love it. Also, if you're a new player, they're trying to make it more of a casual experience, which, again, we were talking about, I think, last week, and I was saying I didn't like that idea. Because, the that just, to me, when they say more casual experience, that kind of says things that really hardcore players enjoy doing, like farming and stuff, won't be prominent in this game. I just wanted to know if you got any extra insight in that kind of, from that area of the call.
No, I don't know. I think honestly, it's nothing but good news when it comes to Destiny 2. What I'm worried about is what is left for Destiny 1. I mean, everything with Destiny 1 is where my concerns are. I'm happy that Destiny 2 is official now, but I kind of would like them to say something about Destiny 1. I'm going to go right back to my whole roadmap comment. We need a roadmap, and now more than ever, because now we're finding out that Destiny 2 is coming out in November or whatever, 2017 fourth quarter, which I'm assuming is like November, like Christmas time. But what does that mean for Destiny 1? Are we just going to be left with nothing then until then? I mean, we know that there's this spring to update, but we don't know what it consists of. That scares me.
Yeah,
so
and Deej was talking about the next week's update, and he didn't allude to anything other than the weapons balance patch. This makes me think we'll have to wait more than another week or two to get that, which is, I mean, we're almost halfway through February at this point, and usually they give us a little bit of a heads up. So, oh no. Okay, Tisk, here's one specifically for you, and then we can go back to Icono's thing, because I always end up interrupting him, not on purpose, but I'll forget this if I don't. From a player who hasn't been paying much attention to Destiny and stuff, what kind of stuff would you like to see realistically in the spring update, and when do you think it would drop?
I would like to see something besides a Prison of Elders thing.
Okay. Yeah,
it's just, I don't know.
I agree.
That's like, hey, we're doing something for you guys, but never mind.
it's just Prison of Elders.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Minecraft, says Tisk. No, and if they're ambiguous with it and they just say it's coming in the spring, we haven't had any announcements other than that up to this point. We're getting the weapon balance next Tuesday. In your head, when does it make sense that we get this content drop?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. You just want to take the cop-out answer and say April? That's what Reddit's doing. Oh, just say that. Just say April.
April.
April. Okay, he's going with April. Good answer.
April.
Okay, yeah, Icono, like you were saying with the call. Sorry.
Well, I mean, April makes the most sense because that's what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes the most sense as far as timing is concerned. If they're going to drop this update, this massive PvP update, I'm assuming that their thought process is that the PvP update will satiate people until April.
Yeah.
And then April will be the big PvE update. So, I don't know. I'm assuming that that's what they're thinking. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
yeah, I just don't know. See, every year they put these weapon balance patches. They did it last year too, like in between content drops, as if they expect it to hold people over. I just don't see a rebalancing of weapons as like, I'm not trying to bash on them. I'm just saying, like, the timing could be a little bit better. Like, this isn't realistically, come on, it's going to be fun to play with for one day, and then people are going to be back in the same stuff. Like, okay, we just want new stuff. So I don't expect this to revitalize too much stuff. Well, I mean, let's be honest. But there's that. And then one thing I really like, when I think about April, I'm getting worried about. So Destiny 2, we're just going to say September, because that's when Destiny 1 released, and the best way to predict the future is to look at the past. So we're going to say September. And if Destiny 2 has a beta, it'll happen in July, just like Destiny 1's. If, that we're making a bunch of assumptions here, but we're going to go with it. So between July and April, that's still a good 3-month period. So do you think whatever content we get in April and the news of Destiny 2, do you think that'll be enough to keep fans engaged for the time being? I guess
it'll have to be
first. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have much of a choice. We either keep playing what they give us, or people start taking breaks and go to other games. I would hope that whatever they're doing, I hope that like what they're planning is taking into account that that the population is dropping, and I'm hoping that whatever update that they're planning is big enough to either get people to come back and or keep the people that are already playing there. So I hope so. I hope it's enough, but you don't really know until it happens.
That's my thing. Like, I really want the raids to come back. I think it's extremely plausible at this point. There's just so many things that like just leftover bit. Like, for instance, since the launch of the Vault of Glass, there's been 3 Vault of Glass armor sets in the database. And I know that's not specifically pertaining to this, but if you're a game developer and you have to make new content, wouldn't it make sense to use content you've already made, even if it's not, like, even if you're not developing straight from that? So, say, if I was them, the live team, I would bring up the Vault of Glass just because I already have those extra assets made. I think that would make sense. But my thing is, if they just bring back content we've had before, that I don't think that's going to be enough to hold people over, like, or to effectively hold people over. I don't know. Again, Tisk, you have a pretty unbiased. No, well, you have a pretty common viewpoint now. I was going to say unbiased, but that's the wrong word. You have a common viewpoint where you've taken a pretty big break from Destiny. If they just dropped the revamped raids, how long do you think you'd play those? I guess it kind of depends on us, but give us a time.
An hour.
An hour. And that's it? Then you'd stop?
I think probably. No, I think something like to get me really back into it, they'd have to do like a pretty big, lead up to Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. So I would like if they completely like destroyed the tower or, made Earth disappear and you had to
is Elucid back everything.
On here? Or something like leading up to the new story that they're trying to release. I think that would be enough to get me back into it. Mm-hmm. Like really, really, yeah. And then, yeah.
Good answer. I get where you're coming from, though. I see, that's what I think. I would rather, and I always say this, I would rather new content over recycled content. But, I mean, there, of course, comes a, like, if we get both the remastered raids, that's a lot of content. Versus maybe, like, House of Wolves side. I mean, even, I think that's too big, I don't think we're going to get a House of Wolves sized live event. Of course, because House of Wolves was paid for and this is free, and it just doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint. But, I mean, I could be wrong. The Dawning was pretty big. So, I hope we get a Dawning sized update. And I agree, I'm going to have to agree with you, Tisk. I hope it has new story implications, but I think from a developer standpoint, it makes sense to bring back the old raids, which isn't necessarily saying I want them to, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's pretty much that. Yeah, Destiny 2. What? Okay, so I just want to go ahead and knock these rumors. There's been rumors all over Reddit this week. The big one I was talking about in our clan chat was the Destiny: The Forge of Hope stuff on Twitter. Guys, if you're watching, that's not real. It's called some guy took like 4 hours of his life and typed up this huge synopsis about. I'm serious. Tisk, you're laughing. You haven't seen this post. It's huge. All right, like I split the screen and I still couldn't fit it on 2 monitors, going like top to bottom, like everything, story stuff, character customization, extra content, release dates and stuff, and it's just like there's no way. Well, first of all, I was thinking there was no way it was real, but I wanted to share with you guys just in case it was. And then Irk, who is one of the main producers of Destiny, one of the developers, said it was for sure not real. So if anyone thinks that's real, don't, because it's not. And then we also, I'm just, especially now that we got confirmation of the game, all these clickbaity websites are just going to be jumping on everything. Like VG247 is a site I check a lot, and they actually made like a whole article on the Forge of Hope, and then once it was debunked, they still didn't take it down. And man, that just irritates me so much. They just want the clicks, and they don't care if the information is right or not, and that really does irritate me.
Me too.
Quite a bit. Yeah. But so there's that. That's pretty much everything on Destiny 2, though. Well, I guess it's not everything on Destiny 2. Tisk, what do you hope to see in Destiny 2's main storyline? Like, what do you want it to focus on? Like, these are all conversations we've had in previous episodes, and I'm really interested in getting your perspective on them. So, what kind of stuff do you want to see in Destiny 2?
Yeah. If you can be a little more specific.
Yeah. What enemy do you want it to focus on? How many story missions? Oh, that's another thing. Sorry, real quick. They confirmed that this was going to center around a cinematic story. They said they made a very big point of making a big deal that the story's going to be finished this time around and stuff. So anyone with those kind of worries, don't worry about it, because it's looking like they've got their stuff together. I have no reason to doubt them. Activision obviously is going to keep them in line this time. I mean, think about... I know this is going off on a little tangent, but think about how many games you hear about get this close to finishing and then get delayed. Like, it's not very many. If a game gets delayed, it's kind of known about a little bit in advance, not this early. So that's just a little tangent, though. So what do you want the story of Destiny 2 to focus on, Tisk?
Well, I mean, we never got a Cabal raid. I would like more VOG styles raids and stuff. Like, they're as epic as it is. I mean, like, because the other ones, they were good, but they weren't as good as VOG.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's a conversation I like to have, and I also feel like Vault of Glass was a really good raid. I know that's Icano's favorite as well. But whenever someone asks me what was so good about Vault of Glass, I can't pick out like a specific thing that I like about it so much. There's a bunch of little stuff, but I don't know. Why do you like Vault of Glass so much? Is pretty much what I'm asking. I'll let Icano answer this one too, because this is again something I want insight on. So
I would say probably because it was like the first one too.
Yeah, that exactly. That's what I was going to say. It was the very first time going into the raid. You didn't know what to expect, and it was magical. I mean, the first time you did it, it was. And the other thing is that we weren't leveled for it. Like, we didn't have unlimited, level 32 gear to where we were struggling, to stay with. We were under leveled when we went in. Every other raid that's come out since. I mean, maybe Crota too, but like every raid after Crota, I feel like we've been pretty well prepared when it comes to gear. So Vault of Glass has a soft spot for me because it was the first real struggle bus. It was not easy, and it was very well paced. It was a lot of fun. So I mean, overall, it was just a very well put together raid.
Okay, yeah, I mean that I definitely see that way too. I always really liked the story aspects of it. We didn't know who the hell Atheon was, but the Vex and just coming off of the main storyline and stuff, I really liked that, and I thought that it had the best story until they did the walkthrough of the King's Fall raid, and they were explaining how each of them were trials and stuff. That blew my mind, and that's something I want in every single raid from now on, is a backstory, even if it's not explicitly told to us. I want every part of the raid to have some type of meaning and stuff. The Rise of Iron raid didn't really have that. They had cool little Easter eggs and design features and stuff, but it wasn't really structured in the way that the Vault of Glass and King's Fall were, which that's something I'd like to see as well. So here's another thing. If they're making Destiny 2 more geared towards casual players, are you guys worried that raids are now going to become too easy? Or do you think they're going to keep them endgame? Presuming we have raids, because they're kind of a staple. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to stay the same, easier, what?
It'll stay the same. Remember, the problem that they're running into right now is the minuscule percentages of people that even attempt the raid, let alone clear it. So what I think they're going to probably try and do is get it to a point where they're quicker. They don't take hours and hours to complete, and get it to where the difficulty is based on your level. So if you really want to do the raid, you just have to level up and get the gear right now it's to a point where the strategy has nothing to do with the gear or your light level or anything like that. It's it's about how good of a team you have. I mean, you know that. I mean, how many times have you and I gone in the Wrath of Machine where we had a couple people in there that we had never played it with, and they were holding us back because they kept dying on Axis at the end, and we ended up having to leave.
Yeah, I prefer
So
not to think about those.
stuff like that shouldn't happen. It's so hard because this is end game content, so you want it to be the hardest content in the game, but at the same time, if I'm Bungie, I'm gonna try and design it to not be that difficult. I want everybody to be able to jump in and enjoy it.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. There's a really weird gray area that I think they need to find. They need to find a way to get everybody in there first of all, and then when you get everybody in there, everybody should have fun, but the hardcore players need to still feel challenged. And
Yeah.
that's that weird balance, and I don't know how they achieve that. I think that when Destiny 2 comes out, they're still going to have single digit numbers of percentages of the population that even do it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this game for 3 years and it hasn't gotten better in 3 years with the first one, so I don't imagine it getting magically all of a sudden better for the second one, unfortunately.
Yes, I see. I'd like a way to skew those numbers a little bit, just because you got to think like that. Those numbers are included from everyone who's ever plugged the game into their console ever. So I mean, if someone like did the first mission and was like, "No, I don't like it," or whatever, or I just like I understand. Um, I like to give those. I wish we had a percent error on that. I guess is what I'm saying, but I totally agree with you. I keep saying this, and I just said it a couple minutes too. I'm worried that they're gonna make the game too casual. I don't know. That's just not the kind of thing I enjoy. Is a really casual experience. I'm a perfectionist, a completionist. I like being the hardcore, doing the raids every week kind of person. I don't know. Tisk, what do you think the perfect balance is between casual and hardcore players? And do you think they can hit it?
I don't know if they can hit it, but I was gonna say, with like, when we always ran the raids every week and whatnot to get our levels up and stuff. I think they need to focus on maybe if they're gonna get everybody in there, just offer different difficulty levels.
Okay.
Like they kind of do too, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the best way to get in there, and that way you can get the hardcore people, give them their challenge, and to get it done with, and then you got the easy people who just want to go through and have fun and whatnot, still get the experience of finishing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how Diablo and the Division do it. They have, Diablo has Torment mode or whatever it's called, and Division. I don't even think Division has a name for it, but you just press Y on the world map and it lets you pick your enemy level, and you can go all the way down and you can make it as hard as you want. Same thing with Diablo. You can scroll the bar all the way to the right and max out the enemy level,
Yeah.
and it gets super challenging.
Yep.
I
See,
wouldn't imagine that casual players would use that, but for hardcore players, that would be really nice to have. To have varying, like you've got the standard, level 40 that everybody tries to get to, casual and hardcore alike, but then the hardcore have an option after level 40 where you can make it level 40 plus whatever that extra difficulty is, and then
mm-hmm.
the casual players at level 40, they have an option to do a level 40 level of the raid, but then the hardcore players have an option to do a level 40 plus extra 28 levels or whatever, and it gets much harder for the hardcore.
Yeah.
That might be a decent workaround for that. That might get more people into it.
I feel like so Borderlands does that, and that's an example that I love to use overpowered levels. You pretty much the same thing. You got to pick what difficulty the enemies were. Same thing with like different playthroughs and stuff. I just feel like with how Destiny's structured, that would be really hard to implement. I guess it's like I don't know, compared to other games, Diablo 3, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like Borderlands. It's like a complete open world game, right? Like you can just walk from one side of it to the other.
I would actually equate the way Diablo is set up closer to Destiny. Well,
Okay.
and, Diablo or Borderlands is the same thing. It's not really open world. It's just there's zones that you have that you can zone into, and
Mm-hmm.
then each zone has like 3 or 4 different areas that you can get into missions in. Um, so I would say that they're pretty similar.
Okay. Do you think that would get weird with? Because I know in Borderlands you can't. I've only spent like 5 minutes in a Diablo game. But do you think it'd get weird because you get put into servers with random people? Do you think having enemy levels would be weird with that, or do you think, like I said, I don't know how Diablo does it, but just because you're matched with random people, would that affect it in a negative way, or would it just be
Well, the way that Diablo does it is that before you even get into the game, before, like when you're still on the main menu, you pick your torment level. So you can just be like regular, level 60, which is what everybody else is. Or you can pick torment 1 through 6. And
okay?
when you pick your torment, you can actually see like as it tells you how many players are in like each world. Um and you can see like the numbers change based on the different torment levels that you pick.
Okay.
So you would when you pick torment level 6, everybody else that you'd be playing with also made that choice. So I would like to think that any casual player would know that they're getting into the hardest stuff in the game.
Yeah. I,
So,
I I think that I can see that working. I don't know if they will do that. I can see now that you explained it like that, I definitely can see that working. And then I can see it doing like, weapons you get a higher torment or overpowered levels or whatever the heck Destiny calls them, legend levels, let's call them.
sure.
They work better in PvE. They're more powerful, but in PvP they have the exact same stats. I think that could work out. Um, just have like the thing at the top where it says like requires the level 40. Have it say like legend level 6 or whatever. I think that would be a good thing
Yeah.
for sure. What about you? Would you go for something like that, Tisk? And how high up the torment or legend levels would you go?
All the way.
All the way? You'd spend an hour in the raids if they came back, but if you can make your hand bleed, you'll play that all the time, right?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a good system. I think that's a good idea, Akano. It's too bad, like, you never see ideas like that on Reddit, and it's kind of too late for them to implement anything like that in Destiny 2. If they haven't already, they might have. I guess we'll see. But another point I really wanted to bring up is the way they were just saying, this will affect or attract so many new fans in different international markets, and this will bring more casual players and stuff. Every time you mention bringing in a new group of people, it really just says to me our characters are going to start over, because if we have, I know it's weird. I know, like, even if it's just like the general consensus already is that weapons and armor won't transfer over or whatever, and I think that is becoming more and more of a greater possibility every time we hear something about trying to attract new fan bases. And I guess we'll do Tisk for this one. Tisk, do you think it makes more sense for starting a new market to start over, or do you think I'm just being dumb and I just need to rethink my argument? To put it nicely.
I like the second one better.
uh,
No, I don't know how they're gonna do that.
yeah. What do you hope they do?
Like, I kind of hope they just continue it forward, but you can't. You can only reach so high.
Mhm.
I like. Let's see. I don't know if you've ever played Mass Effect, but when they went from the first game to the second game, they ended up killing the main character off to get his stats back down to 0.
Hey, spoilers, dude.
So
No, I'm just messing.
So if they did, I don't know if they could do something like that. Like if they do destroy the tower, it messes with your light level. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, they could do something like, siege on the tower, destroy, or, your tie with the traveler's cut. Boom, you have 0 light level again. And because there's nothing to represent the light. I don't know. I'm just saying. See, and I hope I don't know. I'll let Icano give his opinion, and then I'll formulate one while he's doing it. What do you think, Icano?
Well, my thought, well, the way I would do it is that the tower is being attacked. People die, stuff gets blown up, lots of bad stuff's happening. You make it off Earth as like a last ditch thing. You have your ship, you have your ghost, but you only have the gear that's on your back.
Mm-hmm.
So what that allows you to do is at the top of Destiny 2, it lets you pick from your vault your favorite primary, your favorite secondary, your favorite heavy, and a pop-up will come up and it'll say, "Are you sure?" And you say yes. And then when you say, "Are you sure?" you go into the mission, and what'll happen is the vault, the tower, everything will be blown up, blown to bits, and everything goes away except what you had on you.
That would be pretty.
And that's
intense.
that's the way you're able to keep your gear that you like.
But then on your second playthrough, you can just save everything. Like, or would it be a one-time thing for per account?
I would say per account.
Oh,
yeah. That's the way it would work.
I see that it's that kind of stuff that makes me scared to go in playing Destiny, like right as it comes out. I'm just gonna wait like 5 minutes on Reddit until people are like, "Damn it, my Gjallarhorn's gone because they didn't warn me," and then I'll be like, "Well, I guess I'm taking all my good stuff." Yeah. What do you personally hope that you reset, or?
Well, all I care about, all I want Bungie to do is just respect the time that I put in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I put close to 2,000 hours into this game over 3 years. I don't want to start over with Destiny 2 and not have that be respected in some way. Mm-hmm. Whether that be I get to keep all my emblems, I get to keep all my shaders, I get to keep all of my class items. Then that's fine. That's good enough for me, and I would respect that. Now, if they do a flat, like, Destiny 2 is a whole new game, you pick 3 new Guardians, it is all new. That, I think that's a bad way to go for all the people that put thousands of hours in this game like I did.
Yeah.
I want to have something that I can tie it back to my old character.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I'm trying to think of past Activision games that have even done anything similar to this, and I can't. I guess just in the Call of Duties, it's usually like if you played the last one, you get the special emblem, or I think Black Ops 2? No, Advanced Warfare. It showed all your prestiges from the last 4 Call of Duty games on your color card. That was, I mean, it's just small stuff like that. In my opinion, I think they have to bring shaders and emblems back, or at least ones that people paid for. The donation, goodness gracious, I can't. What was the country they raised money for that I can't think of right now?
Nepal. You're thinking of...
Yeah, Nepal.
I think of all that.
Yeah, so Nepal, the Black Friday ones, the ones that come with the pins, the Union of Light that you go to conventions and get, your beta code one, the one for being a mentor or a ninja, the ones for getting movie of the week, the Moments of Triumph year 1 and 2. I think all of these need to transfer over. If they just get rid of like the basic Evil Levante ones, I won't complain because most of those are pretty dumb. But I think especially the things that people had to play a certain amount of time, or even like the Festival of the Lost exclusive ones, or the Dawning ones, or Crimson Days. That, like, I think all of these limited edition ones need to come forward with us to Destiny 2, and that would really show your seniority. Especially, I mean, hell, if it's like the beta one or the old guard one, that would really show that you were in it. You've been playing Destiny for a long time. But I think everything other than that's going to reset. But I definitely agree with you. If there's nothing at all, I think that's just giving fans another reason to complain, which when you have a community that is really quick to complain, like some of the people in this one are, I think that's a bad move. And so I don't know. I guess we'll see. Hopefully that's some of the first information we get on Destiny 2, saying, I think that'll be part of it. Like because half the community expects your character to carry over, and half of them don't. And I think it's pretty important to get that out of the way as soon as possible, just to kind of get it out there and let people know. But all right,
Yeah.
Any more thoughts on Destiny 2 at all, guys? No.
No, I mean, without us, until we have an announcement or something else to work with, I mean, everything that we talk about is just going to be either pure speculation or just what we want, you know.
Yeah.
So I just hope that we get something soon. Now that we've had this call, I feel like Bungie almost has to say something now.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I think I started to. The way he was talking about it, he made it sound like it was going to be extremely soon. And the first time he said it, he said, "I'll let the game speak for itself." And as soon, and this is probably just me connecting dots that aren't supposed to be connected, but as soon as he said that, I was like, "Dang it, Icona was right. We're gonna get something in Destiny 1 that shows what happens in Destiny 2." Just because I'll let the game speak for itself. I know that's probably not it, but my mind initially, like right off the bat, went to that, and I was like, "He was right. What?"
Well, think about what the best way is to advertise the next game.
I mean, you're
Put it in
right.
the first game.
You're absolutely right. I haven't. There's not really a game that does that or has done. Tisk, are you right? Did you just die?
Sorry.
Okay. There's not really. Did you just fall out of your chair? Oh man.
No,
So-
And
Okay. There's not really a game that's done anything like that in the past. I agree with you though, 100%. I just thought he was going to confirm it right there, which he didn't, which I should have again expected. So yeah, I think we're going to get information on that within the next 2 months. Absolutely. Like, if we don't, how can you tease someone like that and then not give anything at all? Not even like teaser images or a teaser trailer or screenshots or concept art. You know, just you can't.
And they can't be naive enough to think that we weren't going to get wind of what was on that call.
Yeah.
Like only thing I can think of is that Bungie is like sitting in their offices and they're like, "Oh, well, they don't even know about Destiny 2. We can let it go for another few weeks." Or whatever.
And they're like, "Dang it, Eric!"
And then there's one guy in the back of the room that raises his hand and he's like, "You know that they heard the call, right?" You know, I'm pretty sure that they all know that we heard that call, and now that we all know that Destiny 2 is coming this year. I think that they're probably under a decent amount of pressure now to give us details, because one of two things will happen: hype will ensue, and then people will start coming back to Destiny to, like, you know, kind of like as a warm up before the next big game, or people will be like, "Oh, 2017, quarter 4. No, that's November. It's February. That's 9 months. I'm not gonna sit here and play this, you know, old 3-year-old game for 9 more months. I'm gonna go play the Division."
Yeah.
So that's the problem, is that they have to keep the current players, you know, active in the game, and the only way you're going to do that is by improving what you have and dangling that carrot in front of us and giving us announcements about Destiny 2. Like, do it like a trickle. You know, like do a stream in like March where they show just a little bit, maybe a little bit of concept art, then do something in May, and then do a little something in June, and then next thing you know, July and August, there's your beta. That's the way I would do it. Do it as like a slow drip, you know, kind of like dangle the carrot in front of us every couple months. Just give us another nugget to talk about. That to me makes the most sense to keep everybody engaged and, you know, hyped for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Man, it's just so hard to predict all this stuff, you know? And hopefully, like, you know, like we've been saying a billion times over now, hopefully we get stuff like now. I'm ready for it. I think everyone is. But, I mean, you got to keep in mind, too, we still have that information about the spring event coming up as well. So, who knows? Who knows? All right, so that's probably going to wrap up that topic. And then the last one, this was supposed to be our discussion topic, but we pretty much covered a lot of what I wanted to cover in this one. So, this is their new community manager. I forget his real name. His Twitter tag is @JustinSocial. And it's really interesting because when Deej tweeted out about him, he specifically said, look who Activision hired to work directly with Cosmo and myself, Deej. And I found that really weird. So for a couple of reasons. The first one, Activision hired him, not Bungie. Which that shut up a red flag to me right away. Another thing, they were really pointing out, like, D said, content creators, go follow him. In his Twitter bio, he says, if you're a content creator, hit me up. He's like, it seems to really, maybe that might just be a coincidence, but it looks like he might be geared towards content creators. Icono, if you have any thoughts at all, why would he be hired by Activision and not Bungie?
Well, do we have confirmation of that?
Yes,
like, all he's said is Activision. Like, I don't know. The way I read that is that
here, I'll find the exact tweet.
Activision's footing the bill. They're paying all these bills, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All these new positions that we're adding, all this new stuff that's going into Destiny. Activision's footing that bill. So when I read what that said, I read it as, oh, Activision's just paying. Activision's basically giving us a budget to where we can now have a third person. I didn't really read it as Activision
maybe
went out of their way to hire this person. If that's the case, then what I would assume that means is that this person is in place specifically to hype content.
Yeah. Here, one sec. I really think that's what it is too. I want to find the exact. Tis, go ahead and give your opinion on that real quick while I find this exact tweet.
Yeah, I don't follow that stuff, so I have no opinion.
Oh, dang it. That was a real quick turnaround on that. Yes, okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, yes. Deej's exact tweet. Destiny content creators, you should totally follow @JustinSocial, who has joined the team at Activision to partner with me and @Cosmo23. So he didn't say join the team at Bungie, and Bungie has their own Twitter, so he could have done that. He said he made direct mention of Activision. So, yeah, I just think that's... I don't know. That immediately when I saw that was like the first thing that stood out in the tweet to me, because I don't know. I agree with you, and that's my next point. Why hire another community manager? Deej already was. I guess he's not anymore. He was kind of like scraping the bottoms of the company to try to find any information to give to us on a weekly basis. And Cosmo doesn't really do anything except read the forums and pick the movie of the week. So, we have two community managers that were already kind of not being able to fulfill their job just because... well, that sounds bad, but I'm just saying just because there wasn't like a whole bunch going on in Destiny right now. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of community interaction to be there, to be had. So again, when this was announced before the Activision call, so I think you're absolutely right. I think that he was hired because they're about to announce Destiny 2, and they're going to get huge amounts of feedback for that, and they're going to need people to deal with it. And then we also have the spring update coming out, which, again, we might need huge amount of stuff. And he also, I guess this is kind of another point. He seems more... So Deej is kind of like a... What, early 30s? Maybe mid-30s? How old was Deej, guys? I'm really bad with ages. What would you say?
He's probably close to 40.
Okay, so he's in his 40s. Cosmo's like a 20-year-old, but he's not really like the social 20-year-old, it doesn't seem like. This guy seems like a social 20-year-old. If I was checking out his Twitter and stuff, I think that he is a face for Activision, and I do think his main job, at least right now, is gearing up for all of this information that they're releasing. Man, Tisk, you don't follow any of this?
Nope.
Oh, why not? No, I'm just messing. I guess that's what I'm for. I'm to tell you. But, I mean, it's exciting. Like, doesn't it? If they're hiring extra staff for a specific position. Also, well, I guess technically they didn't say it was for community manager. He just said he'd be working with Deej and Cosmo, which, I mean, I don't know. Do you think Activision, like, put checkers on them so they don't spoil anything about Destiny 2? You don't... All right, Icona, do you think they would be ballsy enough to do that?
Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
I don't see much of a reason. Deesh doesn't seem like the kind of guy to want like run out of a company and be like, "We're bringing back Gallahorn again," or anything like that. Like that just doesn't seem like his personality. Who knows though?
Well, he said multiple times that he loves being able to take the lid off of things. Like when Rise of Iron came out, he said he was so excited to finally tell everybody about Rise of Iron because he knew about it for weeks, but he couldn't tell us about it, and he had to keep coming out with weekly updates every week, and just keep his mouth shut basically. So he loves it. He loves telling us about stuff. So I mean, I guess that's possible. But hiring this new community manager, it really tells me that we're going to have a lot of content, a lot of things to talk about, because why, like right now, like you just hit the nail on the head. Deej isn't really doing that much. Cosmo isn't doing that much. We have a weekly update every week where sometimes it's as short as like 6 paragraphs.
Yeah.
I mean, they have nothing to talk about right now. Why would you hire a third person to do that job?
Yeah.
So that's telling me that there's a lot coming down the way, that they're going to need 3 voices to speak to the community about this, and that's great news. I mean, because right now it's not like Deej and Cosmo have been doing a bad job. They've just been dealing with a very limited deck of cards. Whereas when Destiny 2 gets announced, when this April update gets closer, they're gonna have a lot more to work with. So adding a third person there who is a little younger, who is probably a little bit closer, tied with the gaming community, maybe that's great. Maybe that's nothing but good news.
Yeah, I also want to point out, like, he's pretty quick on the thing. So as soon as I found out he got the position, I sent him the congratulatory DM, like, great job, or good luck in your position, whatever. And then because it said like content creators or whatever, I was like, I'm so and so and blah blah blah. But I mean, he actually responded to me, which is, I have tweeted at Deej so many freaking times. I just want a response from the man. It's never happened. But this guy hit me up first tweet, and I was like, huh, interesting. So I think he's going to be on top of the community interaction, which is something I think we don't really have very much of, unless it's on a live stream.
We don't.
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense for, if Bungie doesn't have the resources and stuff for them to be communicating with the community and stuff, I guess it makes sense for the parenting company who's in charge of all the marketing and stuff to have a guy directly who they can contact and gives okays with what's all right to talk about in Destiny and stuff. I that makes sense to me, I guess. I don't know if I structured that sentence very well, but I think I got my point across. Maybe.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I really wish I could enter Tisk in this conversation in some way. All right, Tisk. Yeah. His banner for his Twitter is some type of dog. I think a pug. I don't remember. On top of a giant slice of pizza floating in space. Form your opinion off that. Okay. Yep. How did I think we were gonna make it through one straight stream without that noise? Okay.
I was looking forward to it.
I straight up fooled myself. All right. Well,
wow.
I think that's pretty much it on that. Unfortunately, we didn't have many people come out and join the stream. Pretty sure that's Icona's fault, just because he was late. Yep. No, it's you got to keep in mind, it's, I don't know how things are going there. Everyone is sick where I live. Like, school has been closed the last, not my school, not my college, but like the public schools have been closed the last couple of days because there's some type of flu going around. We're getting close to Valentine's Day weekend. It's later at night. What time is it? Like 8? Yeah, it's like 8:30 at night. So I kind of expected that going into it. Actually, we did get one community feedback. Senior Salt said that his 4 fingers would be Coke, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, and Blue Powerade. It's a pretty good one. Nothing to really do with the content, but it's pretty good. We got a lot of great feedback last week, though. A lot of people giving kind of non-specific quotes, just talking about they're loving the podcast and stuff. I think I might look into iTunes. I wasn't gonna do it. I know I said I was, but I wasn't gonna. And then I really think I'm gonna look on getting onto iTunes, because then you can download it while you're offline, and they can like listen to it on their way to school or work or whatever. So I'm probably looking at that.
That's the way I listen to all my podcasts. I mean, I do the community podcast. I do IGN's Fire Team Chat. I do Planet Destiny. And I load them up on my phone, and I listen to them on my way to work every morning. So
yeah, I think I might look into that this weekend if I have a little bit extra time.
Yep.
But yeah, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you leave your thoughts and opinions about all this stuff. You know, we had a lot to talk about this week with all the changes to weapons. You know, special ammo is the huge one. Destiny 2 information and the new community manager. So just any thoughts and opinions you guys had while going through it, just put it down there, and you might make it in the next show. That'd be cool. It's like a conversation. That's my favorite part about this. So yeah, definitely do that. Make sure you're sharing this around with your friends. Help us grow a little bit. More people in the conversation obviously means better discussions. That's just how we're social creatures, guys. That's how it works. And yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and cut this one off a little bit early. It's only been about an hour, but it's not bad. It makes up for that like 2-hour one we had with Lucid a couple weeks back. Kind of balances out.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess first off, thank you, Tisk, for joining us. Pleasure having you on and your pet goat. It's nice.
See.
Do you have any social medias you'd like me to advertise, or are you just good being you?
Yep.
Good. Okay, I'll put his gamer tag on in the very beginning, just so you guys can call him out for having a weird name. It's still my
TSLKRXGX.
Yeah, he can say it. He can. It's pretty weird. And then I've been Scaro9. You can find me at Scaro9 on Twitter or Scaro9 on YouTube, and then I'll let Akana do his thing.
You guys will be able to see my Twitter and my gamer tag on the page there. Just follow me on Twitter, find me on Xbox, and I'm always looking to play.
Oh yeah, guys, also let me know what you think about the new topic setup I have going on there, the new page you look at. I put a lot of time into it, but if you don't like it, definitely leave your constructive criticism down below, and I'll change it up, because obviously it's like the only thing you guys get to look at during this, so I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And if there's any other information or graphics or anything you want on there, let me know. Or, you know, all criticism is appreciated and will be taken into consideration. So that's pretty much that. That's been this week. Next week we'll pretty much let's see. We'll have the full patch notes to talk about for the weapons. I'm guessing there's going to be an Iron Banner the week after next, so we can talk a little bit about that. And then pretty much just a bunch of your feedback and whatever the community digs up between then. So, yeah, it's been this week. Anything else, guys? Any last regards, or are you good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to next week because we'll have a full 4 days of playing with the new meta.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what it feels like when we get back together to talk about it. I'm on vacation all week next week, so I'm going to have a lot of time put in to Crucible, so I'll be able to test. I just can't wait to pull out my Suros again, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Was that on purpose, or did it just work out like that?
What?
Did you like take your vacation because the update was coming, or did it just work out? Like
No, it just worked out like that. I always take a week off in the winter because I hate winter driving, so I try to have like one less week of winter every year. It just worked out that they came out with this huge update while I'm happen to be away, so it's awesome. It gives me time to play with it.
Huh. Awesome. Well, that works out for you. All right, guys. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to wrap up everything. Thanks for watching. Like I said, leave everything down in the comment section below. Share with your friends. All important stuff. And we'll see you next week.